Welcome everyone to the Armageddon clash between Hikaru Nakamura and Arjun Erigaisi. The classical game ended in a draw, but it was an intense one where Hikaru was better, but in the end they agreed to a draw. The arbiter comes in and asks the players to begin. Hikaru gets up, takes off his jacket and a handshake, and off we go. E4 for Hikaru, E5 responded back by Arjun. Knight comes out to F3, knight to C6. Hikaru thinking about the scotch maybe? No, but he goes for the Ruy Lopez. Bishop to C5 and nodding his head there. The bishop is actively placed on C5. Also is a very sharp line. C3 with the idea of D4 here. Arjun plays his knight to F6 attacking the E4 pawn. Pawn to D3 played. So we actually have transposed into a line of the Berlin now. And you can see Hikaru there trying to recollect his analysis. Brings his knight to D2. And there's this very sharp line maybe to play D5 in this position. And Arjun plays it. Pawn to D5. The white king is still in the center. So plucking a pawn like this won't be a good idea. So he just simply castles it out. And now Arjun takes in the center. Pawn takes. And pushes his pawn to A5. Just to make sure that his bishop has space here. B4 doesn't come in. A3 played here. And queen comes out to E7. Rook B1. Preparing B4. And Arjun now has many ways to continue. He goes knight d8. That's an interesting move. The knight could go to potentially e6 later to f4. b4 played. Takes on b4. You can take back with the a pawn. He takes with the c pawn back. Bishop to d6. Plays his bishop to d6. Bishop b2. Oof. Lot of pressure building up on the e5 pawn. He goes bg4. But is that going to help? Because I'll just push you away with h3. Yeah, Hikaru asks the question. The bishop goes back. Queen moves to b3. And maybe the bishop on h5 could be misplaced. Now c6, good move. And Hikaru brings his bishop back to e2. 8 minutes 46 seconds for Hikaru. 5 minutes 47 seconds for Arjun. He goes knight e6, rook e1, so that knight e5 is possible. The bishop is no longer hanging on the e2 square. And Arjun now chops off the knight. It is looking for clarity, but maybe the position now gets slightly better for white. And Arjun jumps with his knight to f4, attacking the bishop. The bishop drops back. And now white has the bishop pair. Also good chances. And g3 first, kicking away the knight. Knight is not so active on g6. a4, rook d8 played. a5 pushing forward. And h6 played now. And he goes rook to c1. The queen comes back to e8. And now can we go b5? But then the a5 pawn is hanging. So first bishop c3. You know, white is playing really well on the queen's flank. And also overall has been a great game until now by Hikaru. And he's speeding up. Look at that. He's ready with rook a1. I think he's in the zone somehow. Rook b8, threatening pawn takes pawn, so the queen is not well placed here. Maybe just queen c4. He goes queen a2, also a great move. And Arjun Erigaisi has a tough position, but he has wriggled out of worse positions in the past. One idea is rook a7 with the idea of doubling down the a file. He goes queen e7. How should Hikaru progress? Should he push the pawn? But that would weaken the pawn quite a lot, I feel. He goes bishop d2. And now maybe c5, trying to break. He goes bishop d6 first. Aha, putting pressure on b4. Not easy. Not easy for Hikaru. Queen c4, attacking c6. And maybe it's not really an attack because you would be threatening the b4 pawn. So he goes b5. Oh, he's forcing him to take. But that's a bit too much. Takes, bishop takes b4, bishop takes, queen takes, and a6. Wow, Hikaru's calculation super on point because now rook b8 is met with queen takes b5. The rooks are unable to move. Rook a7 played. Maybe he's trying to double here, but the moment you double, you lose the pawn. Rook b1, queen a3, and now rook takes b5. Seems like a great move. By the way, this is hanging here on f3, but rook b5, takes it. Oh, beautiful calculation, beautiful piece of calculation. If rook takes b5, queen takes. If queen f3, queen b8 check, and you lose the a7 rook. So rook b5, fantastic move there by Hikaru. I definitely feel Hikaru is in the zone here. He's making one good move after another, absolutely giving no chances to Arjun Erigaisi. And Arjun down to 3 minutes, while Hikaru has 6 minutes 18 seconds. Now rook a8 played. Two problems. Firstly, a6 hanging and also f3 knight, but rook a3. What a move. Queen a1. The point being that if now the rook moves, this is pinned, so rook takes a6 should be possible. He goes rook b6. Is this possible now? Not really, because it can take with the queen and it's winning. So Arjun goes knight f8. Oops. Hikaru, what's he going to do now? Coming out of the pin with king g2 makes a lot of sense. There's also rook b7, but then a6 is hanging. Yes, king g2 played. Beautiful move. Should we go knight d7? He goes knight e6. And this knight is not really threatening something because everything is well covered. Knight d4 maybe could be an idea. Well, Hikaru goes queen d6, attacking e5. Once again, it's a move of a player who seems to be so well zoned in here that he's able to find all the right ideas. He's looking at the screen to see which move number they are on. Move number 37. Arjun goes king h7, but aren't you dropping a pawn here? Queen takes e5. Seems like a pawn just falls. But then again, there was nothing much that Arjun could do. Goes rook b7. Oh, that's another brilliant move. Knight goes to e8, attacking the queen. Let's take this. Queen takes e5. You can see there Hikaru just focusing, finds the move. Queen takes e5. Queen takes queen, knight takes queen. Yes, takes, knight takes, rook takes b7, pawn takes, and now rook b8. Well, you can simply go bishop a6 and knight c6. These are two powerful blows. I was also wondering if rook b3 works. I think that also seems great. Yes, bishop a6, knight c7, attacking the bishop, but Hikaru has knight c6, takes here on a6, knight takes knight, and now rook c3, threatening rook c8, goes in, the knight blocks, and now just f4, start pushing, goes e5, can't take here, this is hanging king g6, and now just g4, stopping the king from coming in. The knights just cannot move because they're completely tied up, and this is all over. f4, f5 is coming up. I think Arjun can resign here with a clear conscience here. Hikaru Nakamura has played perhaps one of the best games of this event for him in the Armageddon. He manages to play with absolute 100% accuracy, no emotions on his face, absolutely emotion free. And there he says, Arjun, that maybe he could have played better, and Hikaru has a nice smile on his face there. Very nice moment there for Hikaru and Arjun.